Hi everyone and welcome to my secret video. Here's a little thing that I want to show you. Why did I do a secret video? Because it looks a little bit like Autodesk is also treating it as a secret, and I'll show you what I mean. Usually when you are working with 3ds Max, you are having, I guess, either student account or full version, but if you have a student account or anyway, you should usually also have your, let me quickly get that, your Autodesk, what is it called? Desktop app. The desktop app that allows you to download all your software. And so if you need any updates, you can find your updates here. So security fixes for your versions and so on. But there's also a few things that are hidden there and you cannot find them. So I'm using Autodesk 3ds Max 2021 and I did all the updates, so that's why I don't have any updates in here. But if you go to this point and then it says, unfortunately it's German, but here is access to the full list of all products and services, and when you click it, you usually have to log in to your Autodesk account. And that looks like this. And when you log into your Autodesk account, here are all the things that you can download or download trial versions and so on. And you should go to product updates. And then you get a list of all the product updates and even the ones. And what I'm looking for, and when you cannot find it here, you should just go up here to the search function and search for something that is called Retopology. Retopology, and when you click it, you see here's the Autodesk Retopology tools. It has been added, I don't know when, probably the end of last year. Here it says releases December the 3rd, 2020. So this was when the tool was released. So I guess in the next full version it will be included because it's a really nice modifier that they have added. And I'm going to show you how you can use it for kind of improving 3D models that are not that good. So let's have a look at the Retopology modifier. First, where can you find it? Right here in the modifier list, and here it says under Retopology. But first, let me create a piece of geometry. I'm going to create a simple box. And from this box, I'm going to subtract a few things using the Pro Boolean. So I'm going to use a cylinder. And I'm going to cut away a large piece here with this large cylinder. Then I'm going to create a smaller cylinder here where I'm going to subtract a few things like this and also a sphere. Basically, it doesn't matter what you do. You just use the Boolean function to subtract a few things. So here it is. So I have my box and I'm going to subtract a few things. So therefore I select my box, I go to create geometry and I switch from standard to to compound objects, and I choose Pro Boolean. The default value is subtraction here, so I choose subtraction, and now I start picking the objects that will be subtracted: the sphere, the cylinder, and the large cylinder. When you're done, make sure you start picking off or use a right mouse button. So here's the result of my Boolean. And why did I do this? Because results of Booleans are usually, geometry-wise, are pretty messy. So I'm going to show you how messy it is. I do a right click and convert it to editable mesh, because you can do this with all kinds of different meshes, not only with the Pro Boolean. So right now it's an editable mesh, just like something that you would import in from SketchUp or so. So here it is, and in order to show you the messiness a little bit more, I'm going into the vertex mode, select all vertices, and I hit all visible, so that all my vertices are visible, and here it is. So the two cylinders that I've used have different fineness. The edge distances are all different. Something I really hate are those small, narrow triangles that you see here, so all kind, and then a large sides with only one triangle, so that is pretty messy. The next thing, and I'm going to leave the edges here so that we can always see how the geometry improves. The next thing is, and that is important, I'm going to readjust the smoothing group. So a smoothing group is a value, and I explained it in detail here in the edit mesh video, so check it out, explaining what smoothing groups are. Smoothing groups are basically a value that separates faces that should not be smooth. So all those faces should look smooth. So when you render it, they should be nice and smooth here. But the edges here should not be smooth, and therefore smoothing groups are applied, and they're just different values. So all the things that are the same smoothing group have one value and the other have different values, and so on. So you go into your face mode, you select all the faces, and down here in smoothing groups, you just hit auto smooth. Make sure the angle that you have here, it means 45 degrees. Every edges that have less than 45 degrees towards each other will be smooth, and everything that has more than 45 degrees will be an edge, proper edge. So you can even increase that. It doesn't matter. You can 45 seems fine. And now I have my smoothing groups applied. The next thing is, especially here, you can see that here is a lack of faces because it's very large angles, so it doesn't look smooth at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply a modifier called Turbo Smooth. And Turbo Smooth, what it does, it basically takes every edge. For example, here's an edge of 90 degrees, and takes the edge, and instead of having one edge of 90 degrees, it makes two edges of 45 degrees. Or if you choose more iteration, it does even more. And it also allows you to separate the faces by smoothing groups. So when you hit separate here, it kind of keeps the edges, but it adds more details to it. And here is what I get. Now you can see that suddenly the edge here becomes much smooth. Of course, this one already was smooth. It's really smooth now. Let's do one more time. And what you now get is a lot of geometry. The edges still are sharp, but this is a lot of edges. And here's some really, really tiny ones. So here's the thing. When you hit 7 on your keyboard, it tells you how many polygons are used for this piece of geometry. And that is 140,000. 140,000 of those little polygons are used. So, of course, this is too much. And this is where our next modifier, the new one, comes into place. And it's called Retopology. So it takes the geometry here and tries to create a new one based on the old one. So you select it, go to Modify, and pick your new installed Retopology. And on Retopology, basically what you want to do is, I haven't tried different options here. We can do that. This is just the default setting. You choose the face count of the new polygon face, and right now before it had 140,000. So let's make it 5,000, and you just hit compute. Okay, and here it is. So now you can see the amount of vertices, polygons has been reduced to 5,000, a little bit above 5,000. And you can see there's a pretty regular pattern here. All you need to do is remaining is you have to adjust the smoothing groups again, because I can see here it doesn't look really sharp, but that is quite simple. You just place on top either an edit mesh, or you can also do the you can also apply a smooth modifier and just hit auto smooth, and that brings back. So there it is, and what has been really awful geometry is now regularly smooth, and also the circle here has been improved, and that is something that you can continue working with. Okay, so that was let me quickly show you the three different stages by making a copy of it, or 2 copies actually. Well, that takes a while. So here it is. I'm going to take this one and delete the first one. Here is, I'm going to delete the retopology. So that was the first stage where we had the awful, so selected. First stage, the Boolean operation with all the edges and with the ugly thing here. Then we used the turbo smooth to smooth it out. Don't forget, the turbo smooth is limited to only smoothing groups that are the same, so it's only smoothing out the things that have the same smoothing group. And then we apply the new modifier, because this is useless. This is way too much geometry and also very irregular and so on. And the last result is, after doing the retopology, you have a nice and even mesh that you can work with. Okay, I hope you liked it. I'm really curious why Autodesk is hiding such an update, but I guess it will be released in the next version of 3ds Max. Okay, so try it, and I'm sure you have fun with it. I'm sure there's much more options that I haven't found yet. Thanks for your attention, and I'll see you in the next video.